Delta Force selection looks for flaws in men already forged by war. It's held twice a year in West Virginia, where even seasoned Rangers and Green Berets vanish under crushing isolation and silence. The process eliminates over 90%, including battle-hardened veterans, because it isn't about being the best, it's about proving you can survive alone when the mission goes wrong. What makes this so uniquely brutal? And why did Colonel Beckwith design it that way? That's where the real story of America's most secretive unit begins. Colonel Charles Beckwith spent a year embedded with the British SAS in the 1960s, watching their selection process strip men down to the core. He returned to the United States convinced that the Army needed something different, an elite unit built not on muscle or bravado, but on the ability to operate alone, deep behind enemy lines, without support or certainty. Beckwith's blueprint for Delta Force drew directly from what he saw in the SAS: individual navigation through punishing terrain, relentless silence from instructors, and a total absence of encouragement or feedback. He wanted soldiers who could think for themselves when the mission fell apart, men who did not need a team to keep moving. In Beckwith's words, he sought well-read soldiers, loners, guys that can act independently and have just half an ounce of paranoia. The selection course he designed would become a psychological crucible, engineered to reveal who could function with nothing but their own judgment to rely on. This philosophy shaped every rule and every test that followed, setting Delta apart from every other special operations unit in America. Camp Dawson, nestled in the mountains of West Virginia, serves as the proving ground for Delta Force selection. Each year, candidates report twice, once in early spring and again in the fall, facing 4 relentless weeks that few will finish. The course draws from a pool already considered elite. Most arrive from the 75th Ranger Regiment or Army Special Forces, though the doors are open to qualified applicants from every military branch. All must be airborne qualified, hold the required rank, and bring years of experience to the starting line. There are no raw recruits here, only soldiers with combat backgrounds and advanced training. The selection process is not announced with fanfare. Candidates receive orders, pack their rucksacks, and disappear into the Appalachian wilderness. The group is a mix of seasoned, non-commissioned officers and junior officers, each one tested before arrival. Yet even among these, the odds are unforgiving. Of every 100 who start, fewer than a dozen will see the end. The schedule is fixed, but nothing else is certain. From the moment candidates step onto the grounds at Camp Dawson, they enter a world where rank, reputation, and past achievements mean nothing. Every candidate who arrives at Camp Dawson faces the same opening test, a physical standard that would break most soldiers before the real selection even begins. The baseline is a 5-event battery, push-ups, sit-ups, a 2-mile run, an inverted crawl, and a 110-yard swim while fully dressed in boots and uniform. Each event is timed, but the standards are not posted. There are no shouted numbers, no encouragement, and no visible scoreboard. Candidates move from one event to the next, knowing only that failure means immediate removal. The combination of body weight exercises and endurance work is designed to weed out anyone who is not already at the top of their game. Push-ups and sit-ups test core strength and muscular endurance. The 2-mile run demands cardiovascular fitness. The inverted crawl is a punishing movement that exposes weak shoulders and poor conditioning, while the swim, done in full gear, ensures nobody can fake their way through. Even among these experienced Rangers, Green Berets, and Special Operations veterans, the standards are ruthless. There is no room for excuses or second tries. Once the physical gate closes, the atmosphere shifts. The cadre falls silent. No one explains what is coming next or how well anyone performed. The group is left in a vacuum, stripped of feedback and support. This silence is intentional. From this point forward, the process stops measuring raw strength and starts probing the mind. Candidates are left to wonder if they passed, if they are falling behind, or if the next event will be their last. In Delta selection, uncertainty becomes the new test. 12 to 18 miles, that is the daily reality during Delta's land navigation phase. Each candidate receives a map, a compass, and a set of coordinates. There are no partners, no teams, and no one to ask for help. The silence from the cadre is absolute. No one offers encouragement or hints. There are no time checks, no distance markers, and no way to know if you are ahead or falling behind. The only sounds are boots on wet leaves and the steady rhythm of your own breathing. As the days pass, the rucksack grows heavier. The terrain never lets up. Steep ridges, deep hollows, and endless Appalachian forest. Sleep is rationed, food runs low. Each checkpoint reached is met by a silent cadre member who records the time and hands over the next set of coordinates without a word. Paul Howe, a former Delta operator, still remembers the attrition. In his class, 120 men started. By the end, only 12 to 14 remained. Most quit during this phase, not because their legs gave out, but because the silence and uncertainty wore them down. Every step brings a new question. Am I lost? Did I miss a turn? Is this even possible? Without feedback, doubt creeps in. The physical grind is relentless, but it is the isolation that does the real damage. By the time the final march approaches, the majority have already dropped out, defeated not by the mountains, but by their own minds. The long walk begins in darkness. Candidates are rousted from thin sleep around 12:30 a.m., handed a set of coordinates and told to move. There are no words of encouragement, yet no hints about what lies ahead, just the cold knowledge that the finish line could be hours or miles away. Each man shoulders a rucksack weighing between 45 and 70 pounds. The route stretches 40 miles through the Appalachian Mountains with no markers and no one to follow. At each checkpoint, a cadre member waits in silence, recording the time before quietly passing the next set of coordinates. No feedback is given. No one says how far remains or if the pace is fast enough. The only sound is the crunch of boots on dirt and the ragged breath of exhaustion. William Boykin remembers his own class. 109 started the course, but by the long walk, just about 25 remained. The march pushes bodies and minds to the edge. After 8 hours, Boykin and his classmates were already spent, knowing there were still 12 more hours to go. Every step is a test of willpower. For some, the silence and the darkness become heavier than the ruck. By the time the sun rises, most have dropped out. Only those who keep moving, despite pain and doubt, reach the end. The long walk is the final physical filter, one last chance for the course to break whoever is left standing. Reaching the end of the long walk does not mean a candidate is in. Survivors, drained and sleep-deprived, are ushered into a small room to face the commander's board. A panel of Delta senior leaders, seasoned operators, and psychologists waits. The questions come rapid fire, probing moral judgment, decision-making, and personal motivation. There is no yelling, but the scrutiny is relentless. Every answer and every hesitation is weighed. The board is not looking for bravado or the loudest voice. They are searching for quiet confidence, humility, and the ability to think clearly under extreme stress. This interrogation is carried out by instructors, psychologists, and the unit commander. Even the fastest finisher on the long walk can be turned away. One candidate set the course record and was rejected for personality flaws. Lieutenant General William Boykin recalled that his class of 109 had already been reduced to about 25 by the long walk. Those who pass move to the operator training course, a 6-month ordeal. Training includes live fire drills, close quarters battle, hostage rescue scenarios, demolition, breaching, and tradecraft. Live ammunition replaces blanks to teach absolute trust in teammates. Half of those who survive selection will fail the operator training course. From an initial class of 120, only about 8 might finish the full pipeline. Overall completion from selection through the operator training course is just 4 to 8%, while selection pass rates alone typically range from 8 to 12%. Delta recruits, primarily from the 75th Ranger Regiment and Army Special Forces, and candidates may come from all military branches. Selection is held twice yearly at Camp Dawson, West Virginia, and the course runs 4 weeks. Colonel Charles Beckwith founded Delta on November 19, 1977, after spending a year embedded with the British SAS. Beckwith sought well-read soldiers, loners, guys with half an ounce of paranoia. He borrowed SAS methods such as individual land navigation, psychological isolation, and the culminating ruck march. The stress phase strips away support. Candidates move 12 to 18 miles daily with no communication and no feedback from cadre, carrying progressively heavier rucksacks and unable to return to barracks. The long walk is the signature crucible. A 40-mile ruck march alone at night with a rucksack weighing between 45 and 70 pounds and an undisclosed, approximately 20-hour time limit. Former operator Paul Howe said that out of 2 classes of 120 applicants each, 12 to 14 completed selection. Former operator Kevin Holland said that in his selection class 120 started, 16 passed selection, and 8 finished the operator training course. By contrast, BUDS typically sees 75 to 80% attrition from the general population, while Delta eliminates about 90% of candidates who already come from elite units. Eric Haney captured the ethos precisely. No posturing, no sloganeering, no high fives, no bluster, just quiet determination to get the job done. Delta does not want the best candidate. Delta wants the right candidate. Finishing alone is never enough. Delta's selection is not just a test, it is a filter for judgment under pressure when no one is watching. As conflict grows less predictable, the need for individuals who operate in uncertainty only intensifies. In a world of noise, Delta still seeks those who thrive in silence. Share your thoughts below.